Welcome to chapter 6 of the book of Ecclesiastes, the folly of the wicked. I'll read a little in the Greek and then we'll go through the chapter. Esti poneria en edon ipos ton ilion, ke poli esten para tis anthropis. Anir odosi avto o theos pluton, ke iparchonta ke doxen, ke uk estin isteron te psyche avtu apupanton on epithemisi, ke uk exousiasi avto o theos tu phagein ap avtu, oti anir xenos phagete avton. That's it. Phagete avton. There is a wickedness which I beheld under the sun. He uses this under the sun, and in my lifetime is basically what it means. And it is abundant. There's no it is, and abundant, that should be italicized. And it is abundant with men, this wickedness. And what is it? A man to whom God shall give to him wealth and possessions and glory, and there is not a lacking to his soul from all things which he shall desire. But God shall not give to him authority to eat from it. For a man, a stranger, shall eat it. Now, what reason what could happen that something that God describes, or Solomon describes, that could happen that they wouldn't be able to use or have all the things that God gave them? Now, remember, Solomon was given all sorts of things, wealth and power, you name it. But what I was thinking about, well, you can have all these things, but if you don't have good health, it's meaningless pretty much. If you're in pain, suffering, then that takes hold of you more than any kind of joy you would get out of these other things. The beginning of a cancer scaring you and putting you into a horrible situation. Some people, well, one person I knew years ago when I had a business and the man would fill in for me, I called to see if he'd work, and he did, and then I called him up to find out how it went, and his wife said he committed suicide the day before. And I looked it up, and that's right. And he was only in his 50s. And the wife says, well, he's always thought that he was going to die young because his father died real young of cancer, and he thought he had something wrong with him, so he shot himself. Well, that's an extreme, but it did happen. I experienced it. Then I thought, well, also the Jews in Nazi Germany after the Weimar Republic in the 30s, they had Kristallnacht, where the Nazis would go there and find all the Jewish businesses, break the windows, and ruin everything inside, eventually leading to the Holocaust. So you can have all these things, but then somebody, a stranger, can take it away from you. And Solomon ends up and says, and this is folly and an evil sickness. And so both of those kind of fit the description. If a man should engender 100, I imagine his children, and shall live many years, and however abundant will be the days of his years, that his soul shall not be filled up from goodness, and indeed a burial did not take place to him. I said, better over him the miscarriage. For in folly he came, and in darkness he goes, and in darkness his name shall be covered. And indeed he knew not the sun, and this one knows not rest over the other one. And if he lived 1,000 years of returns, and he knew not goodness, is it not unto one place all shall go? I had a man that I knew, I guess I could call him a friend, an acquaintance, and I like to call him a friend, but he was not a believer. And at the time, I maybe in my early 70s, and he was in his mid-80s, and he was in good shape for a while, and then I would see him every morning for coffee, and we would talk politics, and then he knew what I was doing with the Bible, and so I was able to overlook his cursing and stayed with him until on his deathbed. Actually, on his deathbed, I was there and brought him some ice cream, chocolate ice cream, and he died an hour or so later as I took a break and came back, and he was gone. I witnessed to him over and over again for years and years, and he never did believe. And he would always mention how fortunate I was to have something to do because he didn't have anything to do. Kind of a description of what this man would be in verses 3 to 6 here in Ecclesiastes, of just living for nothing. And you end up going into dying. And all shall go to one place. Well, that's what Solomon saw, but it's really not true. The ones that are evil will both go into the grave. That's what he's talking about. But we, the believers, will go into the New Jerusalem with Jesus, and the unbelievers will go to Hades, where the devil and the false prophet and the beast are. Verse 7, every effort of man is for his mouth, and indeed the soul shall not be filled. Well, every effort is for your mouth, saying what you want to do, and then indeed the soul shall not be filled. The only thing I could think of on this one here is the old saying of the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, and so the mouth taking in food and not being filled. For what advantage to the wise one over the foolish one? For the needy knows to go in front of life. If you're needy, it affects your wisdom, and the foolish one, if you're needy, then if you're a foolish one, it affects the neediness affects them. Verse 9, better vision of eyes over, and have going, but I actually in the footnote is wandering, over wandering in life. Better vision of eyes. Now, not exactly sure what it's talking about, but I can certainly wish for better vision of eyes because my left eye has got macular degeneration, and when I look with my left eye, like I see a line right here, and it's missing. The line is missing. It goes down, and then it's missing. It's white, and then the line starts again because it has to do with the degeneration of the eye. Better vision of, I would love to have than wandering in life for sure, but I don't want to. I want better vision, and I don't want to wander in life, which I don't think I do. And indeed, this is folly and resolve of spirit. If anything became, already its name is called, and it is known what man is, and he is not able to judge against the one stronger over him. To me, it's sort of like talking about the survival of the fittest. This is sort of the way it was in those days, probably more so than it is today when you have all sorts of social payouts to people, food, at least it is in the United States. So you have food stamps, you can get food fairly easy if you don't have a lot of money, and you get Social Security and Medicare, all sorts of things. For there are many matters multiplying folly. And what extra is to a man? For who knows what is good to a man in his life during the number of the days of his folly? And he spent them as a shadow. For who shall report to a man what will be after him under the sun? And so he ends it Who knows what is good to a man in life? Well, I suppose you can look at it that way. I think I know what's good. I think I know Jesus is definitely good in my life. And during the number of days of his folly, and I sure have done a lot of foolish things. And he spent them as a shadow. We were born, and then now I'm going to go into my 82nd year. It's gone like a shadow. For who shall report to a man what will be after him under the sun? Well, Solomon didn't have Jesus, but Jesus tells us explicitly what's going to happen to us after we move from this flesh. And we will go to the judgment. We will go into be with him in the New Jerusalem. And this is what's going to happen to us. It has a description of the New Jerusalem in the second to last chapter of the book of Revelation. So we're given a lot more information than Solomon. Our next video seminar, chapter 7, the positive of the negative. That's a twister, but we'll go through that and find out what that's all about in our next video seminar. I hope you join us. Till then, God bless.